welcome to this episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the lands where this conversation took place. Land which was never ceded, land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to their elders past and present and to any First Nations people listening today. Dan Lidgard has always known he was meant to be a chef. Growing up in Mt Maunganui, Aotearoa, New Zealand, he was drawn to the kitchen from an early age and he never looked back. His career has taken him through some of Melbourne's best restaurants, including Stokehouse and Attica, where he honed his skills and developed his own bold, produce-driven style. Now, as executive chef at Patsy's Bau Bau Dining and Bistro Elba, he's creating dishes that are fun, fresh and packed with flavour. It's obvious from talking with Dan that he loves cooking and he can't imagine doing anything else. Now, Dan kept popping up on my radar as other chefs mentioned him in glowing terms. And then I read Broadsheet's recent article about the cool chefs cooking in Bouldering Gym carparks. Dan is one of those cool chefs, joining mate and founder of Pebble at Roca, Cameron Tay-Yap, this Sunday to cook up an Italian feast. It was high time I chatted to Dan, and I'm so glad I did. Dan, thank you for your time.
No worries.
And for all the driving around today. Because you're saying you've come up from the peninsula, and is that where you spend most of
Yep, so I'm based
time?
out there now.
Yeah.
We've been out there for a little while. Haven't been into the city for a few months, so it's nice to make the trip back.
Yeah, but you're executive chef over all of the venues, is that?
It's been a mixed role. So
Okay.
I've had Bistro Elba is pretty much self-sufficient. Sam Vanderloo, he looks after the kitchen, does a fantastic job. But then an opportunity came up a couple of years ago now where we needed a head chef at Patsy's, and so that's when my executive chef title sort of came into it. I looked after Donna Maria and Patsy's. Fortunately, I don't do that anymore. There's a lot of work, a lot of driving.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got Patsy's sort of up and running to where we sort of wanted it to be, and then handed over to Jaden, who was here for a while, and I became once again based at Donna Maria on the peninsula.
Yeah, so is that closed now?
It has closed, yeah. Our lease was up October last year, and we're now in Mount Eliza.
Yeah, Bau Bau.
Bau Bau,
Yeah.
that's it, yeah.
So is it all Italian or?
So Bistro Elba's Southern French, so
Oh.
bistro sort of vibes. Here they've got the luxury of being Mediterranean, so they've got a really big pool to choose from.
Yeah.
And then Bau Bau is Italian, yeah.
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 That's
Which is
cool.
also a pretty big selection of
Yeah, that's
Italian
right.
cuisine. So
Yeah. I feel like whatever my algorithm is on social media that you've been in it but it is funny because I spoke to Diana a while ago.
Yep.
And she mentioned you, and then Simon mentioned you when we were talking about Pizza Luna, and then it popped up about I read the Broadsheet story about Pebbles at Roca, and then that was coming up on Instagram as well, so I feel like you're everywhere.
it feels like that at the moment. I was just saying to Matt and Clinton the other day how I feel like March is filling up really quickly.
Yeah, so Sunday sounds really exciting.
Sunday should be really good.
Yeah.
It doesn't really feel like work at all. I mean, cooking outside in a car park with a couple of mates. Cam's been a friend of mine for a long time. We worked together at Attica years ago when he was just fresh into kitchens, and so we've been friends ever since. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be heaps of fun.
Well, it's such a cool
Basically a
idea.
big barbecue.
I love the article that I read, and it was about climbing and cool chefs.
Yeah, yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, it's so random, but I don't know how he's made it work, but he has. Like, he's had all these great chefs. I think John Demetrios, or however you say his last name, was in there from MasterChef.
That's right.
And it was packed.
Yeah.
And it's been packed. Every pop-up they've done has been fully booked, so
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be good fun.
And your menu looked really great. And tell me about this tiramisu that has taken months to perfect.
Oh. Yeah, so that's actually currently not on the menu, but it did take months. So I started working on that when we still had Donna Maria. As you do when something exciting is happening, you sort of start to forward plan a bit. So it took me probably 6 months, I think,
Had you
to
made
get it.
tiramisu before?
Yeah, of course. But we were using...
What's the perfect tiramisu?
Well, everything we made ourselves.
Yeah.
And that was obviously going from Donna Maria, where it was higher volume than Bau Bau. Still really delicious food. We sort of wanted to take a different approach and sort of have that handmade, everything we made ourselves, and we do. So having made tiramisu from scratch before, like I hadn't, so we made the biscuits, the sponge, all of that sort of stuff. The zabaglione and all that sort of things we've always made, but it was just a different way of putting it together. Took a little while, but it was delicious. And then it had a stint on the menu and gone, maybe never to be seen again. We'll see.
Well, no, it sounds like it's made its mark.
Yeah,
People
I think
remember it.
I think tiramisu is sort of a given in an Italian restaurant. And we ran it, and people were coming in with like, oh, where's the tiramisu? Like, isn't this an Italian restaurant? And so we ran it, and then it sort of has its peak, has its moment, and then it sort of drops off a little bit. So we just try and keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Rotate the menu often. So
if you are working on a dish, and as you say, it's got a few iterations before you're happy with it. What's your process? Do you take notes on it, or do you just mentally remember that, or how does it work?
Well, it's trial and error. So that's the best, and that's the way I sort of try and teach the guys, the junior chefs now, is you don't know until you try. So if you come across a recipe and you're not quite sure how to make it, just give it a crack. And it may or may not work out, but then at least you can say, hey, chef, or hey, whoever, this didn't work out. Why? And then they can sort of point you in the direction of where you're meant to go, and next time you make it, you're all over it. So it's the same with me. Like, I'll find a dish from somewhere in Italy that I really want to do. Their cooking is quite rustic, so that's where the tweaking comes in, and the trial and error. So just try it and make notes. We all try together. I've always had a good group of chefs at Bau Bau. One of them was Italian. Thankfully, we're an Italian background. So he was sort of my secret weapon a little bit. So yeah, it's a process, but it's pretty normal, I think.
Yeah. So it sounds like you like to continue learning and challenging yourself, but I've also read and heard from people that you're a really great mentor. So Diana was saying that she learnt everything about fish when she worked with you at Point Leo Estate. Yeah. Is that something that you've developed along the way that you just really enjoy sharing with other people, or is that your personality anyway?
I would say it's something I've developed.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of learning when you're a young chef, and you think you know everything, and then going from that personality to somewhere like Attica, you know nothing, and basically your whole career starts again. And so then the way you work, the way you taste, the way you cook, everything is learnt again. And so then taking that onto the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and just sharing, don't do that like this, do it like this. And it can be hard, like Dee will tell you how hard it can be, but look at the outcome. She says what she says, and that's really honestly pretty humbling to hear what your peers say of you, so it's pretty cool. I think. So yeah.
Where did it all start for you? Because I think you're from New Zealand, aren't you?
I am from New Zealand, yeah.
Are you a North Islander though?
I am North Islander. Mt Maunganui.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandparents lived in Tauranga, so we spent a lot of summers up around
just
that
over
way.
the bridge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's a beautiful part of the country.
It is beautiful.
Being out on the peninsula now reminds me so much of being at home. So.
Yeah, well, we used to go to the Te Puke hot springs and stop at some. This is a long time ago because I'm a lot older than you, but at some pub on the way home that you had to get one of those, like the dinging bell thing, and get fish and chips. I've got fond memories of that.
Perfect. That's probably
part
still
of the
there.
world.
Probably hasn't changed much either.
Yeah. Did you always know you wanted to be a chef?
Yes. Which is kind of, I wouldn't say I knew, but I fell into it. So my mum was a very good home cook, and my grandma, my Omi, actually, she was a chef and had her own catering business. And so I sort of got to around that age, the troublesome age of 15, 16, and didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I didn't want to be at school. And so Omi said to me, like, why don't you go and give this a crack? And I really enjoyed food tech at school. And my teacher was a chef, and so he got me a job in a kitchen. And then it was all put to the floor from there. Enrolled in university, got a diploma, and I just never looked back.
Yeah.
Once I got that job in the kitchen at 15-year-old, I was washing dishes. So wasn't anything fancy, but I just knew that you're hooked. You know?
What hooked you, do you think?
Just the adrenaline rush of it all. Like, not so much the adrenaline rush of washing dishes, but it was a 200-seat restaurant, fully booked every night. It was crazy. Harbourside it was called. And you can just see, like, the yelling, the frantic service, the fire, the pans, everything was just full on. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, it'll be sick to one day be the person on the grill cooking, you know. And so that was where it all started for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I couldn't imagine doing anything else now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at what stage did you come over here?
It's hard to pinpoint. I've been here for about 12 years.
Yeah. Did you go to Auckland first? Did you work?
Yeah, so Mt Maunganui, as you know, is pretty small. Not many restaurants to choose from. I think Stokehouse Harbourside was probably it. And so I outgrew that pretty quick, and then Auckland was the big smoke. So we moved there, and I was there for a few years. Worked at the Grill by Sean Connolly, and then sort of outgrew that. And my best mate Adam had moved here, and sort of toyed with the idea of moving over. And so I was like, oh no, I'll never move to Australia, being a passionate Kiwi.
Yeah.
And I came over on a holiday actually, and we sort of just lived the dream over summer for a couple of weeks. Went to Vaudemont for dinner. Did all sorts of stuff, went to the Queen Vic markets, all these sort of touristy things, and I was just like, that's it, we're moving, and we did. And yeah, again, I can't see myself moving back now. I love it here.
Yeah, I'm the same. I came in 2011, so from Christchurch, and there's something pretty amazing about Melbourne, and I think it's sort of accessible, I think, as well. It's not really racy like Sydney. It's kind of, there's different suburbs, and you can stay in your area, or you can go into the city.
Yeah, exactly. I like to stick in my area, on the peninsula.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've only been to Sydney once. I don't rate it. Like, too many one-way streets and too much going on. But Melbourne is just, there's something for everybody, and it's just in such a small confined space. Like,
that's right.
It's been a while since I lived in the CBD now, but so many good memories. Like, and I think the food scene is just bursting at the moment.
Yeah.
Especially Italian. Like, Italian is definitely on trend at the moment.
Isn't that so interesting? Because there must be waves. You would, like, I guess in the early days of Melbourne, Italian was really big because of all the migrants arriving and setting up coffee shops and pasta places and all that. But you're right. There's been such a wave of Italian and such high quality Italian.
We're spoiled for choice, for sure.
It's great.
Even somewhere that's really small, you may not expect it to be much, and you go in there and you get mind blown. So I think we're pretty lucky, for sure.
And so obviously when you when you're a seasoned chef and you've got all the technique and so on, you can turn your hand to any kind of cuisine, but I always think it's interesting if you come from New Zealand, how do you go the Italian way or the French way? And I guess it's from the people that you're working with as well. Is that how you hone the 100%. Skills of different cuisines? Yeah,
so prior to taking on Donna Maria, it was something that had never crossed my mind, cooking from a specific region or cuisine. But then James Langley, who's another owner, he sort of helped shape me. It sort of gave me the right direction. I had never really had any Italian experience. I'm not Italian. None of my family is Italian, so it was just, this is what we want to do, and this is how we want you to do it. And it was the same process, research. And yeah, that's how all the menus were based. Early days, Donna Maria, try and be as authentic as we could. But James was the one who sort of said, that's how we want it to work, and that's how it did work.
Yeah. And then what about plant-based? Because Patsy's is vegan.
Yeah.
Was that new for you?
That was another new thing. Obviously, the Mediterranean diet was something I was sort of familiar with, because there's a lot of intertwining with Italian, Greek, a little bit of French. It sort of all overlaps each other. but then the vegetarian thing was tricky again. There was a little. I think I researched probably harder and more intensely for Patsy's than Donna Maria. Donna Maria was kind of, it's easy in a sense to go pasta. It's Italian, but to really knuckle down on something really specific and then turn it into a delicious restaurant setting was a big challenge for sure. Yeah.
Because I feel like, I was just talking to Matt before, who's crossed from being a sommelier to being in the kitchen, and he was...
he does it all.
He does do it all. And he was saying that he's always lamented the plant-based offering. So I guess a lot of chefs don't have experience cooking vegan food. So, I mean, how do you make it, that's right, tasty and interesting and not just based on meat dishes that have been refashioned?
Yeah, well, specific. That's I think what makes Patsy special is there are vegetarian restaurants around, and they do like steak nights and things like that. Like it's a bit off, I thought anyway. Whereas Patsy's, we just sort of focus on, we're a vegetarian restaurant. We grow our own vegetables, and they're really delicious. And here they are.
Yeah.
And it's succeeded. Like it's really coming good.
Are the vegetables grown on the peninsula? Is it?
No, so we've got a farm out in Rockland.
Oh, okay.
So James, who I mentioned, he lives out there and looks after all the farm. He's pretty specific with what we grow. Everything sort of has a purpose, but we can sort of pick and choose seeds and things like that. If we come across something that we really love, like spigarello is one of my favourite vegetables. I hadn't discovered it before, and then I came across it in a restaurant. I was like, I really want to grow this, and now we get spigarello every year, and it's actually hard to get your hands on because everyone wants it.
What is it?
It's like a brassica. It is a brassica.
Yeah.
It's like a broccoli that doesn't floret. So it's still got those broccoli notes, but it's just a big leafy green, really. Kind of like broccolini with the stalk, and then it's just sort of the broccoli leaves on the outside. It's really yum.
Wow. Yeah.
Bit of garlic and lemon juice.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah, yum.
I've spoken to a couple of Italian chefs, who have come over from Italy, and they lament our produce and say you've got to do a lot to it to bring the flavour out. What do you think?
Well, I mean,
have you been to Italy?
I have never been to Italy.
Yeah,
it is absolutely on the cards. Dee actually went. I think you spoke about it with her.
Yes.
And man, I can't wait. Like, it's definitely on the cards for sure. But I think you look at, it's just in their blood. Like, everyone grows tomatoes, everyone grows basil. It's all homegrown, and it's not even a 45-minute drive to Rockland to get it. It's in the backyard.
Yeah.
And that's where I think their perception of the flavour comes from, is it's all just grown on your back doorstep. Whereas, yes, in Melbourne, you might have to work a little bit harder to find the good stuff, but it is out there.
Yeah.
And I don't think it needs a lot of work. There are, especially on the peninsula, you can pick and choose growers.
That's right. Who are using the right soil and all that kind of stuff.
Like Sam Vanderloo sent me a photo the other day of some tomatoes from Daniel's Run, and they looked incredible. And I've used them before in the kitchen as well. And you don't need to do anything to those; they're just delicious.
Yeah.
And all the veg that we get from the farm, super good. Like, simplicity is best. It doesn't need much at all.
Because I was wondering whether, because this soil is obviously different soil and the landscape's different here to Europe. I mean, this soil was never intended for growing these kinds of vegetables.
Yeah.
But as you say, if people are putting the right nutrients in and treating them the right way and being really aware of what that vegetable needs, and I guess you can still achieve that.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, it's like anything. They treat it as a profession and a passion.
Yeah.
And they want their products to be the best that they possibly can be. So I'm sure they put in all the research.
But I think it's interesting too to have suppliers who work with chefs, and that rather than, and perhaps when you've got this relationship with Rockland, that you can say what you want as well. And I guess, is that how it works?
Yeah,
so you
100%.
work together and have conversations about what might be good to have, rather than the person just growing it and going, here you go,
here's a bunch
mystery
of this.
box, and
use it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a little bit of both. Obviously, you never know to an extent how much you're going to get. So I remember when we first started, we would just get inundated with tomatoes, boxes and boxes and boxes of tomatoes to make sauce and things like that. Now we're sort of honing down on what we want, how we would like it, and I think we've got a really great product. So yeah, I think it's delicious, and it doesn't need much doing to it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you come over from another country and you arrive in Melbourne, so you worked at Attica, but what was where did you first go when you first got here?
It was really funny. I just stumbled across a job at the Stokehouse.
Oh.
And I was there for, I can't remember, it was like 6 or 7 years, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good length for a...
Good stint.
So it must have been a good team and a good place.
It was a great team. I think that's where the sort of culture, I think, to this day, I think it's one of the best teams I've worked in terms of the kitchen culture. And, we'd get to work early and it's hard to beat, have coffee on the deck.
That's so nice.
Yeah, and breakfast, and then all go to work.
Yeah.
It was a really great team environment. But that's where it started for me in Melbourne, yeah.
Yeah. And so was it a culture shock? Did you have to get used to different ways of doing things or a different audience, or?
Not so much.
Yeah.
We're not too dissimilar, Australia and New Zealand, in terms of cuisines. It was a lot faster paced, for sure. I think the grill was quite busy. That was the last restaurant I worked at in New Zealand. But it was part of a casino, Sky City there. So it was busy, but then you come and do summer at Stokehouse. Can't compare.
Yeah, that's right.
But you quickly find your feet in a place like that.
Yeah.
I think there's 15, 20 chefs on the roster, so it's not like you're in the deep end straight away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bit of an eye-opener for sure.
Yeah, and so in what position were you there?
I started as CDP.
Yeah.
Yep.
And did you work your way up, or you?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I worked up to junior sous chef.
Okay.
And again, we talk about mentorship. I had Jason Barrett, who's now, I think he's doing Andrew McConnell's joint in Brisbane, and he was at Attica, so he sort of paved the way for me in terms of how to do things properly, and
nice.
He would be on my case. So yeah. he was what I am for me, for a lot of people. So
yeah. And so then you were sous chef at Attica.
Yeah. So again, I started as a stage, started right at the bottom.
Oh.
So I did a 6-week.
After Stokehouse.
After the Stokehouse.
Wow.
Yeah. As, again, that's the thing. You go from being in a place like the Stokehouse, I'm really hitting it in my stride here, killing it, and then you go to Attica, and I think I spent the first 2 weeks washing dirt off cabbages.
It's so humbling.
Yep. But again,
was that hard, or did you just take that on and go, this is what I'm doing?
I think it was so super rewarding.
Yeah.
The jobs were mundane, but at the same time, you get to be a part of something that's bigger than just scrubbing dirt off cabbages, for example. Then you see that the final result, the dish going out, and it's like, okay, wow, it's pretty incredible. So it was really difficult at the start, but then you sort of get to see the end result in the dining room and how it's seen, from the guest perspective, and it's pretty amazing to be a part of.
Yeah. And what was the difference between the jump from sous chef to head chef? Because you already got quite a lot of responsibility as sous chef.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more back of house sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Attica was I saw a little bit of that back of house stuff at Point Leo, but Attica, that was sort of all behind closed doors, I guess. I didn't see much of it. But then becoming responsible for, the dollar sign at the end of the day. So that was the biggest learning curve, I think.
Does it stunt your creativity when you're thinking about food costs?
No, I think...
Is it more challenging?
It's more challenging. I think when you get to a point and you, I don't know, you say to yourself, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Let's use Attica as an example. You would watch the guys in the section at Attica and I don't know how I would ever do that. And then next thing you know, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And then people would say, hey, I need you to do the dry store order this week. And you're I haven't got time to fit that in, man, I don't know. But then you do it. And so it's the head chef, I've got to write a menu and cost of the food, and hire staff, look after the staff, all of that. So you just absorb it and take it in your stride. And there are other things you become very good at delegating, and then making sure that those people are doing their jobs as well. So it was another challenge, but one that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I enjoy working with good people, and it's a different reward, but at the end of the day, that's why we're all in the same place, is the people. Like, whether you're a guest, you're with people. In the workplace, you're with workmates. So
yeah,
it's the same.
Yeah. Are you still on the tools? Do you still cook?
Yeah, I am. I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Not as often, probably, as I'd like to be, but I still break down fish.
Yes.
Every other day. Being such a small restaurant, we get a fish delivery every day, so it's still one of my favourite things to be doing. But no, I think the pleasure now for me is having young guys who are keen and eager to learn, and then showing them how to do it. And I've got a chef that's working for me now. His name's Gagan, and he's just come leaps and bounds since he first started. And now he's on the grill at Bau Bau, and he's just doing a fantastic job. So I think that's the reward at the end of the day as a head chef, is seeing somebody come in who's not so confident, a first-year apprentice, and work their way all the way up through the ranks of the kitchen and know it inside and out. So
yeah. I guess that leads into my my final question, which is, what would your advice be to young people starting out as chefs?
Just go 100%. Like I said, I was scrubbing the dirt off cabbages 10 years into my cooking career. So no job's too big or too small. You do it with the same sort of scrub the dirt off cabbages the same way you would clean an eye fillet or a whole fish. And the hard work pays off, really. You get noticed, and I think that the attitude of young chefs is probably more appreciated so much than skill. You can teach skill. It's harder to teach a good, positive attitude. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Dan Lidgard. Dan's executive chef at Bau Bau Dining in Mount Eliza, Bistro Elba in Sorrento, and Patsy's in Franklin Street, right by the Queen Victoria Market. You can check out all the goodness on Instagram at Bau_Bau_dining. That's BAU_BAU_dining, as well as the other restaurants mentioned in the episode, Patsy's_Melbourne. They love a good underscore in this group. PATSYS_Melbourne, and at Bistro Elba, no underscores. If you'd like to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read the chat and become a subscriber. I think that's cool. You should do that, because then I know you're there and you get to know when new stories are up at www.conversationwithachef.com. And of course, you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. I would absolutely love it if you told a friend about my chats, because that's still the best way to get the stories out there. Once again, thanks so much for listening. Have a great day and bon appetit.